Welcome to day 2 of the Rich Method series. Yesterday, we talked about how to think like Whole Foods, and this is a foundational video. So if you have not watched video number 1, you're more than welcome to watch this one, but I want to invite you to go back and watch day 1 because it's going to set the tone for absolutely everything that you do in your business and everything we talk about for the rest of the series. So in today's session, I want to cover how we communicate with our audience. And I'm actually going to be speaking about this in 6 of the 12 days. So I want you to take that as a clue. Moving money and moving money quickly, getting lots of people to move toward us and being able to either handpick who we work with or being able to sell them a variety of options, it happens when our communication is clear and on point, consistent. So today I'm going to tell you how many days you have to speak to your audience, how many days you have to tell them who you are and what you do in order for them to pay you, how to get your audience to talk back to you and why this is important. And last but not least, how to refine your message quickly. Because I can't tell you how many people tell me, Monique, I'm going to post on social media. I'm going to go live. I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm going to email my list, but I have to get clear on my message first. If you've ever thought that or said that, this session is perfect for you because I'm actually going to teach you how to do this quickly. Now, I want to preface this entire video with a story because most people are hesitant or inconsistent or self-conscious about communicating regularly on social media to their email list. They're at best, they're hot and cold. Let me know in the chat if this has ever been you. And most people who are inconsistent, hot and cold, in and out, surface level, going days or weeks or months without emailing their list or asking for the sale or directly stating who they are, these people tend to look at people who are consistent and who are regularly creating content, and they automatically assume that it's easier for them. They assume that they are better at creating content. They assume that their life is easier. They assume they have more time. They assume a lot of things. And what I want to tell you is this: based on my 17 years of working with so many entrepreneurs, working with so many powerful women with rich people problems, what I can tell you is the people that you admire online, the people who are consistent, who are on fire, who create, it feels like nonstop, and they're so good at it, they do not have an easier life than you do. In fact, I would say they have bigger challenges than most people could ever imagine. They are up against circumstances, events, and situations that average earners never encounter. Now, I want to take you back. It's interesting because it was actually 1 year ago today. It popped up in my Facebook memories. 1 year ago today, I started a live series on YouTube, and it was the first time I had done a live series since I had stepped out of the online space to help with a brick and mortar business. What most people didn't know a year ago is that showing up on social media every day, doing a series on YouTube, that was one of the most challenging times of my life. And I actually had just been faced with 2 potential lawsuits that if I went on social media, if I posted, if I did videos, if I talked about myself, what I did, if I shared any stories, if I opened my mouth publicly on the internet, that I would be sued. It wasn't easy to show up, but here's what I did in advance of showing up, and I want to offer this to you today. In advance of showing up on social media, in advance of being able to communicate your message clearly, you have to get real with yourself. How many of you have ever had a come to Jesus talk with yourself? How many of you have ever got with yourself and said, we got to look in the mirror, we got to have a big girl moment, and we got to make some decisions? That's what I had to do a year ago. I took myself out into our field, This is when we were living in Colorado, my favorite field, next to my favorite tree, next to the ditch. This is where my grandma would always meet me. And I asked myself what I was afraid of. You have to know what you're afraid of. Because the only reason you aren't being bigger and being bolder, the only reason you aren't richer, the only reason you aren't, this is the term we use at our house, in the total world domination mode is because you're afraid of something. And when I sat in that field, I identified what I was afraid of. What I can tell you and what you already know, because you all have lots of life experience, the fear does not go away. The fear is a companion through life. It is a companion as we grow our business. It's a companion as we do new things, but it just gets taken out of the driver's seat, put it in the passenger seat, put it in the back seat. If you can, stick that SOB in the trunk, and you've got to get into the driver's seat of your own life. So I want you to identify what you're afraid of. The reason why you don't use the microphone that's in front of you on this platform, on all the platforms that are available, the only reason that you aren't on there nonstop running your mouth and telling people who you are, what you're up to, and how they can join you is because you're afraid of something. Most of my clients at this point, if they're 45 and older, they have additional fears. They're afraid that they don't have it anymore. They're afraid they're too old. They are afraid that their appearance is working against them. They're afraid that they won't feel good tomorrow or the next day. And so what do I do when I'm going through a new season of life? What if I can't be consistent? What if I can't serve on the level that I used to? What if I don't have anything to offer anymore? What are you most afraid of? And then this is the second thing that I did in that field. I asked myself who I was willing to become that I hadn't yet said yes to. I would be lying to you if I told you that the same person I was a year ago is the same person I am today. I'm not the same person. Many years ago, 2018, someone gave me the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. I have read that book so many times. I wholeheartedly believe that the only way that we get to something that we haven't experienced yet, the only way we really have a breakthrough, the only way we have a dramatic change in our income, in our lifestyle, in who we choose to be, is we have to actually say, the person that I'm being isn't going to cut it. If you and I continue to be the person we are today, we cannot reach new levels tomorrow, next week, 6 months, 9 months, 18 months in the future. It's not a possibility. It can't be the same person who's in that driver's seat. And here's the problem is we often think that the person we're being right now, it's us, it's me. This is my personality. This is just who I am. But it is not who we are. Because on any given day, at any given time, we can choose to be someone new. That's how powerful we are. And what I'm going to share with you today, it is going to require you to choose a new version of yourself. I will tell you, this is the make or break moment. It is unavoidable. There's people who I know are incredibly smart, incredibly capable, very, very good at what they do, but I cannot get them to talk about who they are, what they do, and invite people into their work. And when people refuse to communicate on whatever channel they choose, in whatever form they choose, when we refuse to communicate, people cannot, they're incapable of hiring us. Why should they? So this is what I'm going to tell you based on what I said yesterday, because you all heard me say yesterday, Whole Foods does not like to create new behavior with their customers. They don't want to make people go to a new location that they haven't went to. They don't want to get them to buy things they've never bought before. And I'm going to tell you, for most of my clients, this is the make or break moment. In the DMs, if you all sent me a message and you wanted all of the links for these videos, I asked you a question. I asked you, do you know what to do, but you're inconsistent at doing it? Or do you not know what to do in order to get more clients? This is one of those honesty moments, because if you know what to do and you refuse to do it, that's the harder route. I'm going to tell you, that's actually the harder position to be in. Because when we know what to do and we refuse to do it, and we have refused to do it for a long time, and we cannot get another version of ourselves to kick in, if we cannot have something in front of us, something behind us, something that is moving us forward and is inspiring us to become better or different, we'll probably stay in our same loop of behavior. It's very rare that I've taken on a client who's like, I know what to do, but I haven't posted on social media consistently ever. And then all of a sudden they start doing it. The people who overnight go from just scrolling social media and watching other people and consuming other people's content to going live 90 days in a row and posting like crazy, those are usually people who are like, I had no idea. If I would have known that doing these things would give me these results, I would have done it a long time ago. I just didn't know. Those people, there's a lot more hope for, because once they understand, and I'm going to teach you this today, they will kick into action. If you have known what to do for a long time and you have not done it, I can't perform miracles for you, but you can perform a miracle for yourself. And the way and the reason why we do this, because I want you to think about a time in your life when you had to kick into a gear you had never kicked into, and you had to become someone you had never been before. It was because something very powerful was motivating you. For some people, it was a divorce, a diagnosis, a death. Something in this life lit a fire under you. Something has to light a fire under you. And for some of you, it might just be the fact that you cannot go to your grave with untapped potential inside of you. Whatever your motivation is, find it. Have a come to Jesus talk with yourself. Go to the field, go to the beach, go to the floor, cry it out, scream it out, talk it out. But you've got to get real with yourself, because if you're unwilling to communicate on a regular basis, nothing is going to happen in your business. Nothing good's going to happen. So let's jump in. That's my Sunday sermon. Now I'm going to give you the teaching. Okay. So I asked you yesterday at the end of the video to audit yourself. So do you know how often you communicate with your email list? Let me know in the comments. How often do you email your list? How often do you post on social media? How often do you create a video? How often do you write something? How often do you communicate about who you are, what you do, and have an invitation into it? And I'm going to talk to you about the posts that happen in between. That's going to be a later day, because we do have to have posts and conversations and things that are in between this topic. But if this topic is missing, you can post all the funny memes you want. You can ask people if they like matcha or coffee all day long. It's not going to build your bank account. So, how often are you currently communicating? What is your pattern? What is your number? What does this look like? Historically, what does this look like for you? I shared on social media today that according to Facebook, I have posted over 10,000 posts. This girl opens her mouth and runs it a lot. I have went live over 1,000 times. I have hundreds of videos on YouTube. That doesn't count what I've done with clients. That is free content that I put out to the public. So it's not a big surprise that I have worked with thousands of clients. There's a correlation. I also said there's a direct correlation between people who are really clear on their life's work, clear that they're in a really good place. How many of you are in a really good place? Like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you're in a good place. Most of the time, people who are in a really good place energetically and spiritually, mentally, they are horrible communicators. I don't know why that is. It's like this weird sliding scale. They don't speak English. Y'all don't speak English, right? You're the jargon jar. Like you inspire my jargon jar videos all the time. What I want to do is be able to bring together great energy, aware of my life's work, passionate about what I do, and I know how to speak about it in plain English, and I'm absolutely wholeheartedly committed to saying it all the time. Because if I don't say it all the time, I won't find my people and my people won't find me. Will you attract a client every now and again if you sit at home and wait for the phone to ring? Yeah, you will. You'll get a client every now and again. But it's not the type of clientele and income that you can live on, that will feed your kids, that will buy the new car or the bigger house or allow you to go on vacation or take Mondays and Fridays off. It's not that. So let's just get right to it. How many days, when a client comes to me, how many days do I tell them you have to communicate with your audience and tell them who you are, what you do, and how they can work with you? How many days does it take to reset your audience? Because most of our audiences, they are lazy. They're eating their popcorn, they're sipping their tea, and they're scrolling, and they're like, she don't make me do nothing. I can just sit here and watch, and I can listen to all her inspiring quotes, and I can answer her silly questions. It takes 90 days to reset our audience. Okay. So this is also why I'm deeply committed to consistency. My husband says all the time, I don't know anyone more consistent than you. It's not because I operate like a robot. It's not because I like being disciplined. I would love to be, live a life of frivolity and be lazy. I would love that. But here's the thing I know is it costs me when I do that. I pay the price. Because if I'm posting and I'm promoting and then I decide to go do whatever I'd rather do, and I disappear and I leave my audience and my email list for 14, 30, 45 days, when I come back, guess what? They're like, yeah, we like you a little bit less. We trust you a little bit less. And I'm definitely way more reluctant to pull out my credit card, because what if I pull out my credit card and you go on a little rendezvous? This is what they're thinking. And I know it's going to take me another 90 days to reset them and build this up. So 90 days is the magical number. Can some people do it in a shorter amount of time? Yes. Depending on who they are, how big their audience is, how consistent they've been in the past, what they've built, right? Depending on what they have behind them, some people can do this faster. But what I'm going to tell you is 90 days is also important for this reason. It fixes you. It blows all the cobwebs out of your brain, out of your heart, out of your head. We finally get through all the BS and we get to what matters when you communicate consistently for 90 days. All of these nagging thoughts, you rise above them. Does everybody before they go to post have doubts and all this nonsense going on? Everybody. Some people, it stops them, and some people go, yeah, nice. I see you. I hear you. Now get in the trunk. We're going to keep going. 90 days. If you choose to do video, it can shorten it. Some of you know when I first started online, I went live 30 days. I went for 60, went for 90. I just went live all the time because video helps. When you see me and you hear me and you learn something from me, it's a faster thing. I call it the microwave method. If I write one good post a week and the rest is nonsense, it's going to build slower. It's going to take longer for you to believe that I can make a difference in your life and business. And the same is true for you. So what does this look like? How can you do this where you're not thinking about it, where you can create content quickly and effectively? So back in the day, we used to have to do this out of our own brain, but now we have AI. But hear me, you do not want AI to create your content. What you do want to do is you want AI to multiply your content. There's a difference. I do not want your post to be AI written because guess what? Everyone and their mama knows it's AI written. Now, if everything I wrote was AI, how would you know when you pay me money that you're going to get someone who actually knows what the heck she's talking about? You want to coach you ask a question and she's like, I'll get back with you in a little bit. Hey, chat, Amy wants to know what to do about yada yada. And then copies and pastes a response from AI. AI has never run a business, people. AI has no life experience, no real world experience. There's so much nuance that AI misses. For example, if you go to chat right now, or you go to Claude or whoever you like, and you say, hey, listen, I want to go to the car wash. I need to get my car washed. It's only 2 blocks away. Should I drive or walk? It's going to say to walk. But what about my car that I need to wash? That's the kind of stuff that's missing with AI. Common freaking sense. It's not in AI, it ain't even in half the population. So don't put that in someone else's hands, and definitely not a freaking computer. So you are going, and here's the other thing I just want to say. When you create content every day and you have a timer, I'm going to teach you how to my timer method. If you do this every day, it's a muscle like anything else. I can create 10 pieces of content in 10 minutes or less. Amy actually gave me an idea. I think I got to do hot seats on the beach, and then I'm going to actually show people in real time how I create content, literally in 10 minutes. And they're going to be like, "What? Why have I been doing it the hard way?" So, you have to write something out of your brain. But here's a few ways to make it easier. Write content that's inspired by life. I did a post this morning. It was inspired by yesterday morning. I've done a post that's inspired by a conversation I had with a private client. I've done 10 posts about what's inspired from a mastermind call. I don't need to say the person's name. I don't need to say their situation, but after I have a conversation with the client, after I get off of a call, I ask myself, like, what did this spark in you? What did this remind you of? What did it make you think of? Where did it challenge you and grow you in your own life and business? What does this remind you of? Take every single conversation and use it as inspiration for content immediately. So what you can do is you can speak it, you can write it, and then you can take that post and you can turn it into multiple posts. It could be a series. You could take one line that stands out in the post and turn it into a color block post and ask a question on social media. It can have a call to action that leads to something you got. It could inspire a reel or a video, because we have to have multiple ways to communicate with people. Some people are going to watch the reel but not read the post, and some vice versa. The other thing that I like to do is I actually like to let social media inspire my content. Now, in the past, I would tell my clients, like, don't get bogged down in social media. Okay. And I would still say that, but I'm going to tell you all the truth. Can we just get real for a second? You all are on social media a lot of hours of the day. Okay. So if you're going to be on social media, you might as well let it inspire you. So here's a perfect way to do it. Okay. You just watched a reel, or you just read a post, or you just saw a controversial topic in a group and it had like 700 people fighting in the comments. Take that and create a post about your opinion or what you think or what you feel. What you don't do is take that person's reel and then share it to your profile. No, I watched that. It sparked this in me. I'm going to go talk about that thing it sparked in me. I read this question and heard this controversial conversation in the comments, and here's what I know, here's what I believe. Here's my opinion. If you are inspired by real life, what's happening with you, your clients, your meetings, your calls, your sessions, and if you're inspired by social media, you're literally never going to run out of content. Can you see that? There's endless ideas. What I oftentimes will do is I'll write the post, I'll put it in chat now, so chat, don't change my words because I don't like your words. I want my post to sound like me, because guess what? There's only one me. So don't change the words, don't change my tone, don't do that thing, right? Don't be like, I've been quietly building. Don't do that. But take this post and turn it into 4 more posts for me. Give me an idea for a reel, a video, a color block post, a question, an engagement thing. That's a fast way to do it. So I like to set a timer. How many of you have ever used a timer to create content? Because if I just said, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to stare at a blank thing and I'm going to think and I'm going to brainstorm and I'm just going to have this open-ended thing. No, I set a timer. They started when the boys were little. There was just no way I had a limited amount of time, right? I'd set the timer and I would just create and write. And when that timer went off, hit post, hit publish, whatever it is, right? We're not creating content to check something off of a to-do list, because you can see the people who do that. We're creating content that leads people to buy our thing. The people who recognize themselves in our posts, the people who say, I need that, that's an opportunity for them to join. And oh, by the way, we are not here to create perfect content. How many perfectionists are here? How many of you have stared at a post for way too long? How many of you have been overthinking your content way too much? So there is no perfect content. Yeah. Every single post I've ever done has at least one typo. My brain moves faster than my fingers. No big deal. Hasn't prevented anyone from paying me. Well, no one that I want to work with, right? If that's a hindrance, then, probably not that much fun. We're not going to get along anyway. I could go back, and if I sat with one post, if I went back 2 weeks ago and I sat with one post, could I make it better if I spent 2 hours on it? Yeah. Is that a good use of my time? No. So 90 days is what it's going to take to reset your audience, to get them to understand that, oh, she has a business, she has something to offer, she has something that she charges for, oh, that's who she is. I was wondering. So I just thought she liked funny memes and chocolate. Thought she wanted to share her glass of wine with us every day. 90 days. So, number 2, how do we get our audience to talk back to us, and why is this important? So, I have said this before, that most of my posts, they get less than 10 likes, especially my promotion posts, not a lot of interaction. That's okay. The point of a promotion post, the point of posts where I'm talking about who I am, what I do, and I have a clear invitation, it's not meant for engagement. It's not going to be the popular post, most likely. But because I have written it well, and because I'm describing where somebody else is and where they could be, and I've given them clear instructions on how to take a step further, and I've put the link in the comments, it leads to 100 payment notifications a month. People don't have to comment. They don't have to DM me. They don't have to get on a sales call. They don't have to jump through 32 hoops. Now, there might be some offers that you want that for. There's a different situation for all of them, but I want to give people as many times as possible the opportunity to see themselves in my content, to listen to my guidance and direction, and to click the link and move forward. But here's why you want to be able to have certain posts that get your audience to talk back. If right now you're just broadcasting what you say to your email list, if what you say on social media and your videos and your YouTube channel is just a one-way communication, you are talking, but they're not talking back, you don't know if you've got your finger on the pulse. You just don't know if you're spot on. If this is the bullseye, you don't know if you're way over here or if you're right in the center. You want to know this, even if you think you know your audience, even if you knew them 6 months ago, if you knew them 4 years ago, you want to know them today. So, how do you get your audience to talk back to you? You ask specific and clear questions. You do hot seats where you do a live video and you invite people to join you, and you ask them questions, you answer questions, you figure out like, why haven't you written your book yet? Why are you with this man that you say you don't love anymore? What do you think is going on with your relationships with your kids? Why do you think you can't sleep at night? Let's talk about why we're gaining weight and all the things we're doing aren't working. Let's talk about it. Let's get in a conversation, because if you can get them to talk about their issues or their challenges, their frustrations, what they're banging their head against, they will tell you everything you could possibly want to know. This is going to help you because you're going to make sure your content speaks to this. You're also going to make sure your offers line up with this. Getting your audience to talk back is essential, because if they don't talk back, if they're not buying off the link and they're not talking back, here's what I can tell you. You're a long way from getting paid. You're not close. We're not getting warmer, we're cold. And we have to figure out how to get warmer. We have to figure it out. Another way that you can do this is by posting in other people's Facebook groups. Most people, if they just post on their own profile, they aren't getting a big enough cross section. They don't have enough data to work with. Most people, the majority of their friends are people that they knew before from a different situation. This isn't buyers, potential buyers. Asking questions and creating conversations in Facebook groups is a great way to see if you're even getting close. One of the things that I used to do back in the day is I would post my post that I had written in a Facebook group before I put it on my profile. And if I got any engagement or any traction, then I knew I was on, then I go to my profile. If it didn't, I go, okay, I got to tweak it. You're not speaking to them. It's not spot on. Is this making sense? We've got to also get them to talk back in any way that you can, related to what you do. How long have you been trying to lose the baby weight? How much have you spent on coaches? What do you charge for your private work? Who here offers such and such services? Asking questions. What do you like most about this? So one of the things that I did when I built out the offer suite for Network Like the Rich, is I went all over the internet and I said, what do you hate about networking? What do you think is a waste of time when it comes to networking? Why do you keep networking? What are you hoping happens as a result when you go to a networking event? What would make a networking event worth it to you? I asked question after question, and then the comments inspired more questions. People who create offers in their office with a notebook and chat and Claude are not going to sell much. Go to the people and talk to them. The other reason it's so important for you to ask questions like this and to get people to talk back is because most people are so far removed from people. How are we going to work with people? How are we going to get people to pay us? How are we going to have conversations with people? How are we going to help people when we distance ourselves from people, from conversations? It just doesn't work well. For some of you who say, I'm not as good on social media, or I just haven't figured out how to crack the code on social media. You've got to get in conversations one way or another. You have to be able to find a way to actually sit face to face or on a screen on Zoom or in Messenger, whatever way you're going to do this. And you have to be able to have real conversations with people about what they want, why they can't get it, what they've already tried, all the things, what they're willing to do, what they're unwilling to do. You have to have a certain number of these conversations. You have to pull them in. This is why I love hot seats and roundtable discussions. Because instead of it just being like, I think there's people out there on this internet to, oh, there's 6, 8, 14 people who are right here telling me about what I need to know. So figure out a way to get your audience to talk back. If you have never done hot seats, if you have never done roundtable discussions, I highly recommend it. These are working very well right now. Very, very well. And when people can be in a conversation with you and you can have a real discussion about what's going on, that relationship gap closes very quickly. Number 3, how do you refine your message quickly? So I already know what a lot of people are thinking, and they tell me this all the time. I would post on social media, Monique. I would go live. I would do a YouTube channel. I would email my list, but I'm not clear on my message. Anyone ever been there? Just not clear on my message, yeah. So here's what I can tell you, okay? So I am not a theoretical girl. I didn't go to college. I don't have college degrees. I didn't study for years and memorize right answers to get a diploma to hang on my wall to collect dust. I'm a feet on the ground, roll up my sleeves, get my hands dirty, learn from the real world type of girl. Okay? And what I can tell you is this, is if you want to refine your message fast, if you want to figure out like, oh, this is the best way to say it, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get over yourself and you're going to speak and write every single day. You're going to wake up every single day and you're going to make the decision to be who you haven't been yet. And you're going to say your message. This is what I used to do, and I highly recommend it. You're going to open up your computer or prop up your phone, and you're going to pretend that you were just asked to speak on stage, that there's 10,000 people listening, that this has been advertised for months. And anything that you want to say, you can say. You have full license. Now, some of you might be, oh, I'd be nervous and I need months to prepare. No, 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 no. You have the opportunity to say what you know, what you believe, what you've learned from life, what you have to offer in whatever area you have to offer it. And you have people who are hanging on every word you say. Go say it. When I went live, the reason I decided at 30 days to keep going and at 60 days decided to keep going is because what I realized is I was learning so much about myself. My message crystallized, it solidified. I figured out the things I could talk about for all of time. And then I figured out, oh my gosh, other people are passionate about this too. Other people don't know how to do this. This is easy for me, but hard for them. Oh my gosh, this is turned into, it's just kind of naturally morphed into its own thing. And now I've been talking about this for 6 days, and I think I know an offer that would be perfectly correlated to that. The way you refine your message quickly is you say it publicly for a certain number of days consecutively. Writing or saying your message privately will not get you anywhere. Okay, so I have, this is a real life story. I have a client. She's incredibly smart and accomplished, tons of experience. And I cannot get her to post on social media. I cannot get her to go live. I cannot get her to show up. And I asked her, are you trying to refine your message before you do? And she said, yeah. I said, how long have you been refining your message? And without hesitation, this is what she said: 2 years. 2 years. I'm going to tell you something. If you haven't refined your message in 2 years, you're not going to refine your message. What we say to ourselves is that I need to get clear before I put the microphone in front of me, before I go public, before I post. That is actually not true. You have to be willing. And then on the road to being willing, one day you go, oh my God, I'm clear. But this goes back to what I said yesterday. You have to be willing to be imperfect and to potentially fail publicly, whatever your definition of failure is. If you watched my first 30, 60 lives, they were awful, embarrassing. I was all over the place. I said ums and stuttered. I had no clear call to action. I had horrible hooks, god awful titles. But I couldn't have got here without those 30 and 60 bad lives. Oh, well, I don't want people to form an opinion of me based on that. They're not. Trust me. People got their own nonsense running through their brain 24 hours a day. They got their own stuff, and the social media feed moves faster than the speed of light. You can go from being unclear to super clear. You can have your message and your talking points and your offers completely done if you will say your message publicly, not what you're kind of interested in, not what you're kind of sure of, but what you feel to your bones, what you know for sure. Talk about that as many days as you possibly can. And when you hit a day when you go, I can't, take a break, but don't let it turn into two. Because one day off turns into two, and two turns into seven, and seven turns into 30. I can tell you for a fact this is true, because if you've ever exercised before and then you take a day off, you get sick or you go on vacation, something messes up your schedule, you'll take one day off. But if you take 2 days off, you'll take 7 days off. And if you take 7 days off, you'll take 30 days off. Give yourself a day off. Give yourself whatever you need, but then come right back. If you want to refine your message quickly, if you want the most perfect offer suite that people would actually buy, say your message every day for as long as you can. See what that is. Is it 30 days? Is it 45, 60, 90? So last July, I announced my very first offer and I started talking about it. And on August 1st, I felt this feeling inside of me. Because what I was aware of is that I was about 78, 83% in. I wasn't at 100%. I have trained myself to be 100% in whatever I do. If I'm going to do it, I do it completely. I do it wholeheartedly. So when I'm not wholehearted, I feel it and I don't like it. Some of you know this story. My profile picture, I took the picture on this day when I realized I'm not 100%. I've been talking about the offer. I've been saying my message. I was at about, I don't know, 20 days, 28 days, something like this. But I said, I'm doing myself a disservice and I'm doing them a disservice because I haven't come all in on my own thing. I haven't lit my hair on fire. People can feel when we turn the corner for ourselves. And that day, and that's why it's my profile pic, I made a commitment to myself. I'm all in and I'm not going to shut up until I get everything I came for, until I hit the goals that I have, until I'm working with the number of people I want to work with. And what I can tell you is that was the day that made all the difference. Some of you were around from that point. Some of you have come in just recently. But from August 1st, I didn't stop talking every single day about who I am, what I do, and how people can join me. And 1,000 people moved toward me. They pulled out their credit card. I had over 100 people share my offers with their audience. Some people shared it on their profile, their groups, their email list. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about why it's so important that you show up regularly, why you use your voice, why you're crystal clear, why you speak plain English, because it's the only way that you can get other people to then talk about you, what you do, and your offers. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about how I got 100 people, some, I would say less than 25, probably less than 20, knew me from before. Most of the people who shared my offers in the last 9 months didn't know me. They literally saw a post, they bought, and then in less than 3 weeks, they were sharing my stuff for me to their audience. They were inviting their friends to join my mastermind, to join my event, to join my networking event. If you want other people to talk about you and your stuff, today is step one. Tomorrow, we're going to go on the next leg of the adventure. How many of you believe that if you had 15, 20, 50, 100 people talking about you, singing your praises and sharing your work, you would have a different life and a different business? It's a game changer. It's a multiplier. It's an accelerator. So your action items for today is you're going to decide based on where you are and what you want. You're going to decide who you're going to become. Who do you have to become in order to become a communicator? In order to be the person who's like, you can't shut me up about who I am, what I do, and how other people enjoy me. Because here's the thing that we have to get real about. Creating a post for social media, in all actuality, it takes less than 10 minutes. It takes 20 minutes at max if you're a procrastinator, perfectionist, right? So how is it in a 24-hour period I'm unwilling or unable to post something on social media? If I know that this is my life's work, if I know that it helps others, if I know I can make a difference in somebody's life, then why wouldn't I? So your action item today is to decide who you're going to be and to decide how you are going to communicate about who you are and what you do. What's your platform? I have really been on one platform for 17 years. You don't have to be on all the platforms. What's your way? What's your commitment to yourself and your people? If you have an email list, recommit to them. Don't take it lightly that people gave you the opportunity to send them an email. If you have a following on social media, if you have friends on social media, if you have a Facebook group, if you're part of other Facebook groups, today is the day that you decide and you commit to yourself and to them. This is a linchpin moment. This is a non-negotiable. You have too much inside of you. You have too much to give. You have too much knowledge and too much wisdom. You have too much inside of you to keep it to yourself. So tomorrow we're going to talk about how do we get other people to share our message? How I got 100 people plus to share mine. If you say, Monique, I had no idea showing up on social media every day would make a huge difference. I had no idea that being committed to this could result in dozens, hundreds, or thousands of clients. I just need a simple system. I need inspiration. I need guidance and direction on how to do my post. I have something called the Client a Day Club. You can join, you can pay monthly, or right now you can join for the year for $200. This is the only program I have where I'm literally in there every single day. Hear me on this. I said in the beginning, this is the skill, this is the topic of half of these videos. Client a Day Club, I do it for myself and I do it for my clients because being able to communicate online, that is the number one skill to learn in order to make massive amounts of money. It's the only program every single morning I go in there And I tell them, here's an idea for a post on social media. Here's prompts, here's ideas, here's how to turn this into more posts. And in addition to that, if you put your post in the comments, I will read it. I will give you ideas. I'll workshop it and I'll help you improve it before you go put it public. I have a friend who tells me I'm bonkers for doing this group and this offer, especially at this price point. But I know it's the thing that can make anyone hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. If you know how to talk online, if you know how to communicate, you can get paid. So I'll put the link and everything, all the places. A lady who's in this group actually asked me if in May I could focus on fast money. She said, this is a skill set for you. You know how to help people find the low-hanging fruit, the easiest path to money, all the things. So in May, we're going to focus on fast money. Every single day, there's going to be a step and a process to help you find where the people are, how to communicate with them so you can get paid within the month, within the week, within the day. All right. Thank you so much for being with me here today. Your mouthpiece, this is the key. This is the key to money, but it's also the key to fulfillment, to purpose. This is what allows us to do what most people don't get to do. Most people are living a life they don't want to live, doing work they don't want to do for someone they don't like, with people they really can't stand. But if you're willing to open your mouth and speak, you get to have a very different life. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.